Hello, this is John with Saul's message for Thursday, March 31st, 2016. Today he is talking about the need to maintain our loving intent for humanity's awakening. You are all spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. Humanity is awakening. There are signs and evidence of it everywhere. There is nowhere on the planet where the tsunami of love remains unfelt. Do not concern yourselves with the depressing and unhappy news that the mainstream media focuses on almost exclusively, because, although it brings to your attention the enormous scale of human suffering, the good news of humanity's spiritual awakening, which is having a far greater effect worldwide than you can possibly imagine, can only be found on independent news sites. The fact that it is not being widely reported does not mean that it is not happening, and you know that. Each of you in your own personal lives are aware at a deep intuitive level that something massive is occurring. Do not dismiss those intuitive knowings as wishful thinking or unreal imaginary hopes, because what you intuit is way more real than anything you see in the physical environment where your perception is severely limited. You are all spiritual beings having a temporary human experience for the lessons that can only be presented to you as you live your human lives. Some are uplifting, some are demanding, some require immense courage, and some are depressing. But they are all lessons that each one of you has chosen to learn. And if you do not learn them, then they will be repeated until you do learn them and move forward spiritually. Or, at a very deep level, make the choice not to learn them. Only a very small number make this latter choice, and when they do so, they are making the choice to move to another illusory environment where they can continue to play the games of the illusion. Eventually they too will choose to awaken, but until they make that choice they will be free to continue on their rather unenlightened paths in an environment where all present have chosen to play those games. No one who has chosen to awaken will be held back because of the reluctance of others to awaken. Humanity has had eons in the moment since the separation seemed to occur to move forward toward remembering who they are, and the vast majority are not only now ready, but are increasingly impatient to do so. The will of the collective to awaken is in total agreement with the divine will, and so humanity's awakening is inevitable, as you have been told so often. Do not be discouraged by the mainstream media's reportage of suffering and poverty. After all, that is not news, it is an ongoing state of affairs that has plagued humanity since the moment of separation. Just know that humanity's intent to awaken is the news, and it will happen. Who you are has never been in doubt. You have always known that you are one with God, and that truth can never change. However, within the illusion it has been hidden from you by the veil you chose to draw between yourselves and the reality that is God. You have now collectively chosen to unpick the stitches and unravel the knots from which you constructed it. It is already in the last stages of disintegration, almost ready to fall apart. Your task, as always, is to be loving in every moment, in every situation, and whenever conflict arises in your personal lives. Unless you know that you are specifically called to assist in healing or terminating other conflicts in which you are not directly involved, stay away from them. To attempt to assist in the resolution of conflicts in which you are not already directly involved can easily cause confusion. Meditate quietly and intend that those who are suffering or who are engaged in conflict receive an abundance of love to open their hearts so that they can reassess their perceptions and see the way to the light that is always with them, just by choice remains unseen. Focus on the truth that every human is a divine and immortal being, a beloved child of God, that even if many are not behaving in a way that supports that truth, nothing can change reality. Nothing can separate anyone from the source. When you see people in disharmony, conflict, suffering or poverty, just intend that they become aware of and open to accept and receive the love that surrounds them in every moment. Every one of you, as immortal children of God, beings of light, are enveloped in an immensely powerful field of divine energy. Love, the life force that flows through each one of you without exception or interruption, and which you can direct to those in need. Or, if you prefer, you can just ask God to use you as a channel through which His love flows freely, abundantly, and without restriction to wherever it is needed. Do not for a moment think that because you get no feedback when you make these loving intentions, that they are ineffective, because your loving intentions, being in alignment and complete harmony with God's will, are always extremely powerful and effective. You are incarnate now to extend and share your energy fields in order that humanity awakens. So make a point of taking time daily, especially as soon as you wake in the morning and just before you fall asleep at night, to renew the intent for humanity to awaken. You incarnated to do this, so even if it feels to you as though your intent is small and insignificant in the overall scheme of things, know that those feelings are invalid, and that your intentions are powerful, effective, and irreplaceable. Humanity's awakening is divinely assured, and your participation in this divine event is absolutely essential. With so very much love, Saul.